Hi guys and welcome to Bomb Anime.
It's your girl Ruka.
A big boy Sam here bringing you our part 2 of Tokyo Revengers.
Okay, there will be obviously a part 3 because the anime is not finished. I think it finishes sometime in October, so hang tight for our part 3. Firstly, I just want to say that I actually like the way they have not glorified gang life. It is very dark. Like, some of the things that actually happen are what you'd expect when you're living the gang life. Sano wants to be this big gangster and he's just true to himself. He knows it's not like the right life or like the correct thing to do, but that's the path he's chosen and he wants to be the top of that path.
I see a lot of parallels between like Mikey and us, really. You know, we're trying to be the best anime channel. He's trying to be the best gangster. And, you know, he's got his principles and he sticks to it. And we got the same. You know what? Mikey's right.
Alright, the power explanation, I was not feeling it. It just seemed weird that Naoto would have been able to deduce really anything from his powers, only seeing it happen once. Also, I'm not appreciating the handshake. It doesn't explain how Hanagaki actually went to the past in the first place. That's just not ever explained. And then they just say like, oh, well, since we met and we had a handshake and you told me about your powers, I'm now a part of your powers, and so now a handshake works every time to make you go back and forwards to the past. It was just kind of like, it felt as if they wanted to do these time shifts but they actually didn't bother to figure out how it could work realistically. Now I know it's an anime, but I expect your theories to hold some kind of water so it doesn't seem so damn stupid.
With the power structure as well, for me, I don't like anything that goes back in time because it causes a lot more messes than it solves. He went back in time, he changed the future slightly, and it's only when he came back that they realized that the future had changed. Also, he ends up back in Naoto's care. That also makes a little bit of no sense to me because if you change the past, doesn't that mean that Naoto and you probably didn't meet each other? Also, doesn't that invalidate the fact that you got pushed off the platform in the first place?
No, it actually doesn't.
Okay, sorry, go on, Ruka.
No, I just wanted to, because remember they said if you are in the past for a week passes here, meaning that you can't go further back, so they would have met. That would have happened.
Yeah, but what I mean is that the little changes that happen, every time he comes back to the present, he's still in Naoto's care. Every time he comes back to the present, something has changed only in the present, not in the past between him jumping and the present. Do you get what I mean? Naoto's made so many discoveries and it's only now that he realized that Akun is the guy who is like in the upper echelon. That was a bit like convoluted for me, but even thus saying that, it's a good story, man.
Okay, now with the power structure, what I think you're trying to say as well is that when he changes the past and he comes to the present, he doesn't remember any of the changes. It just doesn't make any sense. Also, Naoto didn't remember any of the new past. Like, that doesn't make any sense. He still remembered the old past, despite the fact that everything has changed and he shouldn't have that in his head anymore. He should remember what the new line is.
And also, when he comes back to the present, how is it Hinata is still dead? Because, and even if they're still trying to stop her from dying, surely something's changed there. Do you get what I mean? Or is everything set in stone? Is it fate or free will? And that is my issue with anything that goes into the past there, when you're trying to create a solid series story.
I actually like that she hasn't been saved. Just because he went into the past for like 2 weeks and did a few things, it doesn't mean it's going to actually change the thing that he wanted to change. He did cause changes. As you said, Akun was in the upper echelon of the gang. He ended up killing himself. He owned a hostess club and a lot of things had changed for Akun based on the actions that he had changed. So it's okay that Hinata is still dead to me. He just goes back, goes there for a couple of days, and then all of a sudden everything's done and dusted. We don't need the anime then?
Okay, I hear what you're saying, but what I'm saying is maybe she is still dead, but it's changed why she's died. Maybe she's still dead, but it's changed how she's died. Do you get what I mean? It's a case where it still feels like everything's locked in place, but you're going into the past to change stuff. Also, you came to the future, you came to the present to figure out some things. So is Akun still dead? Because when he came back, Akun was still dead when he wanted to go and talk to Onisai. How is it that Akun is still dead when he's created that better bond with him?
He didn't come back. Akun died, he stayed, he spoke to the police, and then they went to do further investigations, and then he went back.
Yeah, so
he didn't go back and then come back, so we don't know if Akun is actually still dead. We have no idea.
But it's just weird to me, innit? The past thing is, yeah.
I think you're thinking way too hard into it, because it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter if she dies in a different way or if anything has slightly changed with her death. Neither here nor there, she's dead. Dead is dead.
Okay, cool.
Takemichi has been around gangs his entire school life. I know that the line is slightly different now because he was a slave in his first line. However, he did also explain that he used to brawl and fight and stuff like that in his past life. Yet we have seen no evidence of that happening. He's weak and he's very naive about the gang life, which is extremely strange since he was like the bottom of the bottom. He should really have the most strong feelings about how terrible gang life is, but he just thinks he can solve things with his words. He thought he could just rock up to Mikey and say, oh, don't fight Mobius, and that would just be it. He's not really putting any effort into changing things in a serious way. He's going about it as a child, and although he is in a child's body, he is not a child. He's actually an adult.
Yeah.
So he needs to really get his ish together. This is not acceptable. You know about how gangs are. You need to have a little bit more knowledge. You can't just go around thinking that you're gonna have taught no jitsu. You are not Naruto, okay?
Fuck, he's trying to be Naruto and Subaru at the same time with the whole restart by death situation without the death part. Look, Takemichi's character, since we're talking about him, it's really annoying. Like, seriously, deeply, honestly annoying.
Same!
Like, it's not even that. That bit doesn't bother me because that's the whole premise of the show. He's supposed to go back and save the girl. No worries. But what bothers me is, like you said, he's going about it a childish way. He's not handling his situation, knowing what gang's life is like. Does he not remember his childhood at all? He's telling me he used to be a brawler, but as you said, the only evidence we kind of got was in the last episode that we're doing up to. And by the way, we're doing up to episode 10. I just feel like, stop crying every 5 seconds and do something. You're trying to what? Stop people from killing each other. This is gang life, bruv. If you're not built for it, you need to go and save the girl. Get built for it and get ready, fam, because it's about that time you kind of wipe away the tears and become a man in this situation. Because you've been living like a little boy your whole life.
In all honesty, I really don't need any more realization moments from Takemichi, because 5 seconds later he's doing the same. They don't know how to use this correctly, because he'll be like, oh, yes, that's right, I came here to save her. And then 2 seconds later he's on the floor like, I'm so pathetic. How could I think I could do something about it? Someone will say one line to him and he'll be like, yes, that's right. I'm here to save the like, seriously, this is not how it works. You just stop this now. I'm done. He's so irritating. He's so annoying. Like, I'm so pissed. I wish Akun was like the main guy. I wish anyone was the main guy because there's so many good characters. I always complain about so many characters being involved, but I actually think in this anime it works because it's made the world seem very large. And because they're only concentrating on the gang elements and the criminal elements, it kind of needs to be this way in order for it to feel believable and real. And they have actually created that. It does feel real. It does feel believable. But Takemichi, Trashamichi, is just so irritating. I can't stand the dude. Although most of the characters I actually like. He's just the one I really don't like. Actually, no. Also, I don't like Peiyan. He's also a simp. Because he is saying that he's on Par's side because he got beaten up, his parents were killed, and his girlfriend was also by the gang. However, he goes to Mobius' side because he's saying that Ken didn't want to bail him out or whatever else. So then you go to Mobius' side. What?
Look, Pei-An is confused, and I get that, but I don't get it at the same time. Wait, so you killed my boy, so I'm going to back you. What? Nah, fam. He's also not built for this life. These two need to go hold hands and walk off into the sunset somewhere so that we can watch the rest of the characters. Come on, Mikey.
Right.
I'm rooting for you for MC. I'm saying it now. Mikey is a flipping don. Kenchi is a flipping don. Heck, Hinata is a flipping don. All of these characters are flipping dons. But talking about Hinata,
she's badass.
she won't take from no one. And she's even willing to slap up Mikey in the face. She didn't even know what the situation was. She made up her mind, boom, slapping him.
Definitely can see why she's dead.
Woo.
It makes complete sense. She doesn't differentiate between who it is that she's going against. She doesn't care. And she's here to slap up guys and talk about it later. Hinata's actually a real one. She is definitely best girl. I actually really like the way they've got this criminal world in this bubble. It's really cool. I like the way that they've actually done it. It's almost like nothing else exists outside of this. But what I think is missing slightly is people crossing the road when they see these people from the gangs, lights going off in houses when they're out in the streets. Like, I want to see those little tiny details. That's a bit nitpicky on my behalf, but I feel like because they've done so well, that would just elevate it a little bit more. Also, the ambulance, it would have actually been interesting if the ambulance decided not to come because of the gang violence. I feel like when it comes to gangs, especially when it's like big gangs, there are certain areas the police will not go. I don't know if it's like this in Japan, maybe not, I don't know. But like in other parts of the world, even here in the UK, there are just parts where the police will not show up if you call them.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like, those little details will add a little bit of sprinkling to the already nicely seasoned awesomeness that we're watching so far. I like the lack of fan service here. Now, there was one sort of scene so far that had a bit of fan service in it, but it wasn't too much. Do you get what I mean? It was like very little. She was in underwear and my man ran out of there straight away. I like that. It kind of brought all the attention to the story as opposed to as a distraction for the viewers. Do you get what I mean?
Well, I actually don't think that it comes under the category of fan service. Yes, there was a little bit of titties, but that is not what I think fan service is. I think that this was part of the story. She's actually stated that she was a virgin. She just wanted to make the guy that she liked jealous because she wants him to notice her. It is actually a part of the story. She wasn't just in underwear for people to look at her being in underwear. There was actually a reason. So I don't think it's fan service, and that's probably why you don't mind it, because it wasn't just there just because. It was also there to show us how the past, Trashimichi, has been changing as well.
Yeah, okay, I get that. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I do like a bit of fan service here or there, but in this story, I'm glad that they took the high road on this one. It doesn't need it, and the story speaks for itself.
Now, I really love the fights. The fighting styles, it's a very like street fighting, but then there's elements of actual professional types of fighting. The weapons are kind of looked down on, really by the Manji gang.
Yeah.
Not by anyone else, because they use their bats and there's knives and stuff involved. But they put a lot of emphasis on fighting with your own two hands, with your own skills, and I actually really enjoy it, and I like watching it as well. They're done really well, and not only are the fights really good, but the actual character drawings are really good. Everyone looks different to every other character, and they have so many characters, so I really, really appreciate that.
Side note, okay, look, you lot are gangsters, where's the guns? Like, seriously, look, I get it, the Manji crew is trying to be all fisty, let's do this, let's see who's strongest, and I get that, but you're gangsters, you're making money, you're doing bad things. It's not like you're fairy tale gangsters, you're not like wishy-washy gangsters. I want to see it properly. Where's the Yakuza style guns and whatever? Because the only crew who decided to go proper gangster was Mobius, and that was really dark.
I really disagree with you. It doesn't make sense for them to have loads of guns or anything like that. In Japan, the gun crime is really low. Crime in general is really low. In the UK as well, guns are illegal here, and although people do illegal things, our crimes are mostly knife crimes in the UK.
That's very true.
You don't see like loads of gangsters running around with guns. Yeah, there are a few incidences, but they're very rare. So I don't actually think that they need to have a bunch of guns. It would make it really silly as well because they're in high school.
Yeah, that's true. It's a bit fallacious to think it that way when, you know, Ruka pointed it out.
Why isn't Trashimichi pumping weights? Tell me right now, Big Boy Summer.
Listen, Takemichi is an idiot. He's been an idiot his whole life, and his answer to every situation is run away. You can't run with weights. There, I said it.
Rock Lee would beg to differ.
ガーラの砂についていけるわけが。
行け！
Rock Lee is not here, because if Rock Lee was here, it would have been over in 2 episodes.
I actually think that Mikey is a bad leader. I do not think he needs to be the leader of this gang or anything because he allows his gang members to fight in front of him instead of sorting things out and stepping in. He allowed Trashy Michi to come and undermine him in the middle of everything, which just really undermines his leadership. This is actually why I think that this was able to happen, where his gang members felt like they were so emboldened that they could come and kill his right-hand man, and that they felt that they could come and side with a different gang and stab his right-hand man right in his face, really. They would not have done that if he had had real control over his gang.
I can agree that 12 years ago he was a bad leader, and right now he really isn't. He's doing the most at the moment, and I get it. And maybe this, you know, training day, he's learning how to be a harsh, strong, forward-moving leader. Obviously, in the present, he gave away his morals in order to be an ironclad super clan. In the past, he was still forming his ideals and forming his gang. So, yeah, at the time, 12 years ago, he was a bad leader. Present day, he's not.
How is he not? He's missing. Nobody knows where he is.
No one needs to, you don't need to be present.
No, you do need to be present. He's not leading. He's not leading. That's the whole point.
Okay.
The other guy has taken over. Kisaki is actually leading everything and everyone's terrified of him. Nobody's talking about Sano. Sano dipped. So he's not a good leader. He's still not. He's still, 12 years ago he wasn't, and now he's not. He's just not good. So he needs to also get his together if this is what he really wants.
I can see where you're coming from. I disagree, but I can see where you're coming from.
Well, okay. Akun is actually best friendo because when he said that he was going to fight in place of, it might be Takia, I can't remember what his name is. He said he was going to fight in place of his friend because he was weaker and they didn't want to... Yeah, it's Takia. They didn't want to let him fight because he was the weakest one. And at first I was like, oh, you're just saying it. Like, you're just all talk. It's easy to say that because you can't do it. But then he took out his flick knife. I was like, yo, he's ready to go to jail for his friends. When we get back to the future, the present, we realize that he actually did go to jail.
Bro, he was ready to risk it for a biscuit and he did it. Best friend, that whole group is a solid group, bro. They're all fire. Look, if you got boys like these, you can take on the world, bro. These guys are solid.
Definitely. Find out if I still hate the MC in our part 3. I am currently really enjoying it. I've heard a lot of people say that this has like a huge pacing problem, but I actually do not feel like it does have a pacing problem. I just think that we have a main character problem.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.
Get in the comments and let us know what you think about it.
Peace.